2011 Mark 6 Golf GTI. You've seen it on the channel, we've recently picked this up from the auctions for our Lemon to Lambo series. And today we are going to be reviewing it. Thanks heaps for joining us here today as we review this Mark 6 Golf GTI. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. That helps you keep up to date with all things Project B, Lemon to Lambo, such as this car here, and all the reviews coming out for the different cars that we get through the auctions. But today, 2011 Mark 6 Golf GTI. I've wanted one of these cars for a long time because I had my JDM car and it always seemed that every other Euro owner out there had a Mark 6 GTI and would smoke me. It's hard to see why though with this one currently, because it is 100% stock, but I think the really good thing about these cars is their tunability, their ability to make power and modify. So right off the bat here, we'll see how the power gets delivered. That we are finally back behind the wheel of a turbocharged car. It has been a while, but well, let's see what all the fuss is about. Just beautiful. Now, you can probably hear in the background, we do have an aftermarket exhaust. This is not factory. If you watched our previous video where we went through this particular car, you'll know that it is in some places a really good high quality exhaust, and in other places, as I put the window wipers on, in some places it's a terrible exhaust with booger welds. Unfortunately with this one, it's full balls to the walls 100% of the time, which is really quite annoying when you're just like this, you're just cruising, it's Sunday here, we're on our way to our testing grounds at Mount Tambourine, and we're just wanting to enjoy the drive, and I don't want fully hectic stage 35 out the back. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about that. But power delivery, much better than our last car that we reviewed, the 350Z. Torque instantly. You just got to make sure you downshift on those gears, get into the power band. Anything above around about 2,000 RPM, 2,500 RPM, you're pushing enough boost that this thing will boogie and it will get up and go. The problem that we had with the last 350Z is you really had to rev that car to get all of the power out of it. This though, as soon as it's in boost, it'll be pulling as much as it can, and these cars are known to do quite well in that department. Volkswagen were quite mild. I think it's about 16 PSI, I think, from factory. It's not a ton, but it's not a slouch by any means. It's not like Morgan and my 180s where it's about 12 PSI. But yeah, so the power delivery is awesome, the torque is awesome, but you will find yourself getting used to it quite quickly. It's almost there. This having, I believe it's 170 or 156 kilowatts, I believe. The Golf R's having much more. I feel like that would be the sweet spot. Around about 170, 180 kilowatts is right where you want it, but with some slight modifications, this thing will easily be able to get to that and much more. Alright, so the Mark 6 GTI. This is a hard one because it is part and parcel with handling as the suspension, the tires, the wheels, that kind of thing, but it's also the interior. These seats hug you so well that it gives you so much confidence into corners to throw this in and know that you're going to be coming out all right. Now, obviously this being front wheel drive, it does have limitations. If you overcook it into a corner, it is going to understeer you into a tree. But good set of tires, the car's going to be planted, it's going to be fine, and you're going to survive. It's actually really quite nimble. There's not much play in the steering wheel at all. and it's very agile. It's ready to dart into a corner and ready to go. I think this is probably what the 350Z's handling should have been like. It did seem a little washy, a little bit, but like we said in the last review video, the 350Z, it does everything okay. The Golf GTI, I think one of its best characteristics is the fact that it is a really good handling car, and it does have a decently peppy engine to go with it. We're now coming up to Mount Tamborine, so you'll be able to get yourself a decent amount of mountain driving, and you'll be able to see that there isn't a lot of movement going on in my torso. I'm not having to plant myself at the steering wheel. It is very, very confidence inspiring. So in terms of the exterior for our 2011 Golf GTI, there's no wow factors. There's nothing that really distinguishes it that much compared to just say your regular Golf. Really all you've got here is your GTI grille. I think the bumper's slightly different, but really it's pretty much the same. I mean, yeah, and the badge on the back that says GTI. So I think that's a kind of a letdown. What they could have done is, this fender here is quite flared, which is nice. The back's got nothing, which I think for a GTI, you want it to be aggressive, you want it to be sporty. A flared rear guard would just, I think, really make it. Maybe more vents, you know, even if it was some fake ones, just to give it more aggressive, sporty kind of feel and look to it. Because again, it looks just like a regular Golf pretty much. This one here is a two-door. It looks amazing. By far, looks a lot better than the four-door. It does hint towards that kind of sportiness, the coupe almost. I hate these wheels, and especially this one here. Someone's tried to plastic dip them and it's starting to peel, so these look pretty crap how they are. But I mean, the design is, I feel like they could have definitely thought of something a bit better than that. Coming down the car, there's really not much. It's very basic on the outside. It's kind of just very, it just looks like a Golf, you know, just a regular ass you know, hatchback that you see on the road, which is a bit of a letdown because this car is a really cool car. It's just the looks, you know, just let it down just a little bit. Coming to the back here, they did add this little black diffuser there. That does look quite nice. This one does have, you know, a quad tip. It doesn't normally have it, but this one does, so it's just had the exhaust swap for that, and it looks amazing. Especially looking at the back, I think maybe Volkswagen should have probably done this from the factory, having these quad exhausts, because it does make it more sporty, makes it look really, really good, especially with the diffuser there and this little kind of lip spoiler on the roof just here. So yeah, pretty much it kind of hints the sportiness in some aspects of the car, but I think it's a bit of a letdown for what it actually is. So in my opinion, they could have done better. So now we're on to the interior, and it is actually surprisingly a really nice place, even though there's a bit of plastic bits around. Similar to the 350Z, it does have, you know, yeah, a few bit of plastics here and there, but they've actually done it in a nice way. Everything's kind of blacked out with the hint of chrome around the air vents and on the steering wheel. You know, your door cards are actually quite nice, not as basic as those ugly ones on the 350. If you watch that video, it was terrible. This one's actually quite nice. It's got, you know, your buttons, and they're kind of your natural spot where, you know, if you want to do the windows, they're just right, you know, in your reach, which is really nice. It's got this nice little gloss bit here. They've just done a nice kind of design to it there. Onto the steering wheel,
is probably one of the nicest bits of this interior is the steering wheel. It's really nice. Just the size of it, you know, putting your hands in it feels really, really nice. Nice leather, got your red stitching around there, makes it feel kind of sporty. It's also got a little GTI badge on there that reminding you it's not your everyday Golf. It's also got your buttons on it for your, you know, your calling people, and the infotainment system there. You've got your paddle shifts on there, so if you want to be full, you know, race boy, you can, you know, flick through the gears there, and they feel pretty good too. They're not your, you know, they're not your crazy sports car banging through gears one, but they feel really nice, good quality ones there, the little paddle shifts. Coming onto the dash looks really nice. It's quite basic. It's probably very similar to just your standard Golfs, but they've done well. It does look really nice, and you've got your little screen in the middle that can show you, you know, your kilometers and all your kind of things there as well. Coming onto the center console, you know, you've got your doubled-in head unit here. You've got your, you know, regular radio. You can hook your phone up through Bluetooth. You can also call and do your calls there. It's also got a disc slot there, but who really uses that anymore? And the aircon features is, you know, kind of your standard aircon features. The buttons feel quite nice. They don't feel too cheap. Coming on to the gear shifter, or the automatic, this one is. Yeah, it feels good. It also has the red stitching on the little, I don't know what you call that, the fabric below the shifter, the shift boot, that's what you call it. But yeah, that feels good. It kind of matches, you know, the steering wheel. I've got a little bit of hints of the red stitching everywhere, which is quite nice. Now, one thing I think is really cool. Now, I'm not sure if it's a standard feature or OEM feature, something you'd buy or you'd get when you bought this new. But you've got your little cup holders here, and the divider you can actually take out, and it's a what do you call it? A beer opener, bottle opener. So that's, I don't know if that's standard, but that's really cool if it is. And it's got the little VW badge there on it as well. Coming into this center console bit here, this is one bit I don't like about the interior. I like when there's just a massive, you know, you open it up and it's just got a massive hole. You can chuck heaps of things in there. This one doesn't have that. You've got kind of a little bit of pocket here. You can't even put your phone in that one. Maybe some coins, I'm guessing you'd probably put in there. It's a very small kind of storage spaces there. I don't really like that, but I think if you don't mind about that, then it's not to worry. On this side, really, it's just the glove box. Glove box is kind of your generic glove box. They have got this really nice kind of felt on the inside of the glove box, which feels really, really great. And just kind of, you know, tells you, man, this is not your standard Golf, I guess. Come into the seats, and these seats are really nice, and they've got the embossed GTI kind of to the headrest there. They're nice leather. They have really good bolstering, like James said earlier. When you're driving, it really holds you in the seat. So yeah, it's really nice. Going to the back, the back seats. The space and the size of it is kind of your just generic size, but yeah, the space in the back's not too bad. Also, with the two-door aspect, the doors are actually quite long, which means when you're in you go into the shops and you're in a car park, opening your doors next to cars, it's quite hard because you can't get as much, angle, you can't get, as much space to get out, which is a little annoying, but I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. And then also back to the boot, or the trunk, however you want to call it. The space is quite reasonable. It's fit all our camera gear plus small things. It'd fit all your shopping in there. You wouldn't struggle, putting too much things in there. It's quite big for what this is. But yeah, other than that, the interior is quite nice. I do like it. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels just, nice, refined, and yeah, it's a nice place to be.
So you've seen how well this car powers and delivers it. You've seen how well it handles the twisties up Brisbane's most famous mountain. And then Morgan killing it with the exterior and interior. Morgan, Golf GTIs.
Yep.
What do you think?
Well, I think before we had this one, before kind of I experienced the whole Golf GTI-ness. I didn't understand the whole rage. After owning it, driving it, going up Mount Tambourine and back, it is a nice car. It's a very good all-rounder car, I think.
Yeah, I think like the 350Z, it does a lot of things well. I think it does it better than the 350Z, except for the exterior. I think the 350Z is a much better looking car on the outside, whereas the Golf GTI, unfortunately, a bit like a Mazda 3 MPS, it just looks like a normal Golf. Like, unless, you know, you're looking at the grille or you're looking at the badge at the back, there's not much to distinguish the difference between just a normal Golf. But power delivery, much better, I think, than the 350Z. It's very punchy. There's a tiny bit of lag. There's a little bit of lag, which, I don't know, maybe with a tune you could fix that, but it is probably for fuel economy reasons. The handling is probably what I was most impressed with, especially being a front-wheel drive car. It had no problems whatsoever handling the mountain roads. There was never any complaining from the tires. There was never any understeering or oversteering or anything like that. It just was planted, did exactly what it did, and the power was, I think, perfect. Like any more power, I think you would begin to become a bit sketchy, at least on the mountain road that we are on with the tires with this car. But yes, we can definitely see why there's a following behind them. But we both came back with the same conclusion, that it's just missing something. It's kind of like the A45. It's more of an appliance than a thing that, at least for us, that we're passionate about. I think the word you'd use is soul. Or
character.
It just...
I reckon the 350 had a little bit more character.
A little bit of character,
I think it's just too clinical. It does everything just too well, almost. You know,
But if you don't care about that, you just want something that's a really good all-rounder. It's, you know, probably your only vehicle. A Golf GTI nails it out of the park. Like it's very, very good, unless you need a bit more room. For all you tall people out there, such as myself, plenty of headroom. Not a worry in the world. The seat reclines back. It is all good. Okay. Out of all the cars, where does it sit? So 350 is top of the list at the moment. I think, was it 3 MPS?
No, I think the 350 might have... Oh, no, I think the 3 MPS... I don't know.
I'll
put up the thing. I can't remember. But I think the 3 MPS might have been the top.
Might have been the top,
Even though I think it does everything better than the 350, bizarrely, I think I'd put it below the 350.
Really? Okay.
There's something about the 350 that I really like, and I don't know what it is. And there's something about this that's it's really cool, but I think it just doesn't do it for me, and I don't know what it is.
The Euro-ness.
It's the Euro-ness.
It is ironic that after Morgan saying no more Euros after our Audi, one car or two cars later, we are with another Euro. I would say, for me, it's better than the 350, just because it's a nicer place to be. The power delivery is much better. You do get pushed into your seat a lot more than the 350, whereas I think the 350 is more about carrying speed than actually delivering speed. But the only thing I think that the 350 has on the Golf is the fact that it does look better. Having said that, though, there is one other thing that we haven't talked about, and that is the reliability and aftermarket support. This car is... Reliability, I mean, everyone's seen the memes. You're not a Golf owner until you've got a Golf with a check engine light. And we've had check engine lights. Nothing, no problems, nothing like that. Just catalytic converter, not as efficient as it should be. Aftermarket support, though, every man and his dog is doing exhausts and wings and splitters and all sorts of stuff you can buy for this car, especially out of Europe itself. In England, it's just amazing. The Golf support is unreal, especially in Germany. I believe they have the Golf Fest, which is just, I forget what the name's called, but pretty much Golf Fest just for golfs. So yeah, there's a huge support around it. Morgan, would you buy it? Would you recommend it? Would you choose a different alternative, or would you just stay away completely?
I don't think I'd buy it for myself. I'd definitely recommend it though. If someone is after something and this ticks all the boxes, I'd say go ahead.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great car.
I am, as much as I think this is better than the 350, I think I would be hesitant to recommend it.
Really?
For the only reason that if this is someone who doesn't mind getting their hands dirty and fixing things and can do that, I think it's good. I think if someone isn't exactly mechanically inclined, doesn't know too much, just send their car in to get serviced and everything, I think the fact that, you know, it does occasionally have sensors go bad and check engine lights come on, and that could scare you away and ruin the ownership experience, whereas the 350, the thing would just keep going and going and going and you would never really have a problem. Yeah. So I think if it depends on the person, but yeah, I'd definitely recommend it. Would I own one myself? Probably not. I'd probably go straight for a Golf R.
In saying that, you pretty well, I guess it's not the GTI, but it was pretty much, you've already owned one pretty much.
Well, yes, technically I have owned one. I had the GTD, which is the diesel variant of this one. And again, it was just a really good daily. It was, you know, a little nippy and quick. It wasn't as quick as this GTI. Definitely had a lot more torque though. It was a rocket ship until about 100. Yeah. But yeah, so technically I have owned one-ish. Kind of. But if I was to do it again, definitely go straight for the Golf R and probably a Mark 7. I think they just look a lot better than the Mark 6s. And that's when you started to actually get separation from this is a standard Golf and this is a GTI and this is a Golf R.
And they just look a bit more aggressive, and they've just...
Yes.
They've obviously added more
tech.
More things and tech in, yeah.
Yeah. But thanks heaps for watching. If you own a Volkswagen Golf Mark 6 GTI and we are completely wrong, let us know. Because we are wrong and these are just our opinions and thoughts. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, I've already said that. Hit that like button, comment below what cars we should be reviewing next. All the cars currently that we're reviewing are just the cars for our Lemon to Lambo series that we're flipping. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next Project B video.